Hello everybody, EzraTime here and welcome back to another movie review, and today we are going to be reviewing a movie called The Flash. Now, I'm a bit late for The Flash obviously because I was supposed to see this movie last week but I got sick, so uh that's why I didn't able to watch it last week, and I recently watched it like today, which is probably a bit late, right? Because everybody's already doing like spoiler review and stuff like that, which don't get me wrong, I don't get spoiling it because I kind of like avoiding those reviews until at least until I watch the movie. So I guess for this review, that there might be some spoilers. I'm gonna give a warning. There might be some spoilers that I want to talk about, at least. But again, we'll see when the review is going, because I'm just gonna go with the flow when I'm reviewing movies. So yeah, The Flash is obviously the recent DCEU movie, and I think this is supposed to be the conclusion for the Snyder, wasn't a Snyder universe, but it's like the previous universe. And not exactly, and it's going to start the James Gunn DC universe like later with I think it was called Superman Legacy, right? The first one. So yeah, I think this one and Aquaman 2 is gonna be the last one. Which I I heard some stuff about Aquaman 2, and I don't know, man. Let's just see. Let's just wait for that movie. But for now, The Flash. I would say The Flash is an enjoyable, fun movie. Because that's what I wanted when I see the trailer, about The Flash, and I know that there is a lot of people that actually gave a positive review before even it's even coming out. And I thought it was like, oh, okay, people actually love this movie. I mean, I'll be honest, I wasn't that hyped for The Flash, because the Flash itself wasn't exactly my favorite character. Like, I don't hate him, but for DC, Batman is my number one favorite character. Next to Superman and the Wonder Woman. The Flash was like, it's a good character. And I enjoy him, but not really the biggest fan of him. And on top of that, this movie has so many controversies. And there's so many setbacks and delays, like the post-production setback, which I'm assuming the visual effects, which we're gonna talk about later, and obviously the stuff with Ezra Miller, that has so many controversies, and he still is the Flash, which is okay. He does a great job as the Flash. I gotta give him that at least. But yeah, it's finally been released, and yeah, I think it's just a good movie. It's not great, to be honest. It's just not great. It's a good fun movie, but it's not great, and I will start with the positive one here, because the movie starts with the opening action sequences that I think is quite fun. We see the Flash is basically saving people, saving babies, which is one of the weirdest scene in the movie. I think it was supposed to be fun or something like that, or supposed to be cool, I guess, but I don't know. I kind of find that scene a bit bizarre that he just saving this CGI baby. I think I would be much more content if he actually saved a person, but I don't know. I think that might make me a bad person for saying that. I don't know. Like, when I saw the scene, I was like, oh, kind of weirded out by that scene, where the Flash is like saving a bunch of babies. But okay, that's the opening sequences. Okay, fine. And on top of that, we get to see Ben Affleck's Batman again, Batfleck, we call them, right? And this might be the last time we see him in action, and then it was in broad daylight. It's bizarre to see Batman in broad daylight, if I'm being honest. But yeah, I mean, and it's a great action sequences. I think Andy Muschietti is a great director in my opinion. All he does is a lot of CGI, but it makes sense, for the superhero movie, and I don't think the action sequences with the Ben Affleck's Batman is good, is fun. It might looks goofy to some people because I think Ben Affleck is not exactly there to ride the motorcycle. I think it was the stuntman. So yeah, the face might be like CGI and stuff like that to replace with Ben Affleck, so there's that. But besides that, I think it's a great action sequences. I love it so much. It's the last time we see him, and it's great. And we also see a cameo of Wonder Woman by Gal Gadot, and I think this might be the last time we see Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman. So does Ben Affleck as Batman, and maybe so does Ezra Miller as the Flash, and it's just nice to see the three of them together. It just sucks that we don't get to see Superman, Henry Cavill's Superman, because they do mention Superman, and we get to see a little bit of footage for Superman where he's like saving I don't know, fighting a volcano or something like that, but you never really see his face, and then like, oh, we're going back to the classic, like there's Superman, but like they don't really saw his face and always hiding his face, and that really pisses me off, because I do think Henry Cavill is a great Superman, but it's just like he never got his chance to shine, and then we never get to see him shine again, which is sucks. And yeah, we get to see a little bit of Superman, which is like, yeah, okay, he's there. It's not Henry Cavill, so it's kind of sucks. But either way, I think it's a good opening sequences. It's enjoyable, it's fun, and then we get to see Barry Allen is obviously struggling with the loss of his mother. With obviously his father is obviously innocent, but is guilty to the public eye. You can say that, and Barry has been trying his entire life to make sure that his dad is innocent and he can get him out, from the prison. And this eventually leads to Barry Allen like remembering his past and then eventually able to use his speed, or like speed force, I guess that's what they call them, to basically find this ability that, oh, I can time travel, and then he talks this scene with Bruce Wayne. For the last time we see Ben Affleck, that's the last time we see him, which is it's a nice goodbye to his character. And yeah, that's where Barry Allen basically like convinces himself that, yeah, I can actually change the past. And so my mother didn't die, and then he does do that, but because of that he actually got transported into this alternate universe where his parents were alive, and then obviously has a nice life. And then eventually there's another version of Barry Allen, and it's one of my favorite moments of this movie is that back in the day, like Barry Allen by Ezra Miller is like super obnoxious, like it was like super loud, and it's not that funny, and then this movie does something brilliant in my opinion, because you got two Barry Allen. The first one, that the main protagonist that we've been following, is the more mature Barry Allen, and then you got the second one that actually just a kid version of Barry Allen, and then obviously you have the adult version, and then like you get the kids version basically facing off each other. And I think that's brilliant. I do like their dynamics together, even though they're both played by Ezra Miller. But I do think Ezra Miller does a great job for that. There is probably a little bit of an issue, where you see the two characters like side by side, that you can clearly tell that one of them is like being deepfaked by the CGI or something like that, right? But I think for the most part, at least when I watched the movie, they always does the camera like here's the mature version of the Flash, and then here's the kids version of the Flash. I'm gonna refer them that, so it's like they always film them like one at a time. At least that's what I remember. And there is a little scene when they're actually together, on camera, so it's okay, I guess. But the most exciting part about this movie is obviously Michael Keaton's Batman. I think he is the best. Like, he's the best part of this movie. It's the most fun part, and to my surprise, that he doesn't get a lot of screen time. That I didn't expect that, because when I first watched the trailer, I thought it's gonna be like, oh, like Michael Keaton's Batman is gonna play a big role in this movie, and he does has a pretty big role in the movie, but it was pretty it's not as big as I thought. Like every single time when he was in action, it was super fun. Where he was fighting the prison guard. I think that's the best Batman action ever, next to the warehouse fight in Batman vs Superman. But it's nice to see Michael Keaton's Batman kicking ass again, even though he's like 70s or 80s years old. And yeah, I think Michael Keaton still got it. I think it's the best part about the movie, and I love it when they actually played the Danny Elfman Batman theme. And it was like, God, I love it so much. Like I got goosebumps hearing that theme. Because it's one of my favorite Batman theme ever. And for granted, my Batman growing up is actually Christian Bale Batman. And not Tim Burton's Batman or Michael Keaton Batman. But I watched them, before last year for the Tim Burton movie, Batman and Batman Returns, and I love the Batman theme. I think the Batman theme by Danny Elfman is way better. And I love it they actually use it in this movie. Which makes sense, because he's Michael Keaton, so of course they're gonna use it. But it's nice, and he also says two cheesy line, that obviously a comeback, like I'm Batman, or like, you want to get nuts? Let's get nuts. It's like, it doesn't. Yes, you could argue that it doesn't make sense to the context he's saying it, but I don't care, because it's like, it's supposed to be cheesy, it's supposed to be a callback, and it works. It's only two times. It's like they're not really nostalgia baiting you for this movie. So I think that's one thing that I could really appreciate. But either way, the other character that we got to introduce is obviously Supergirl, and I'll be honest, even though I like Supergirl in this movie, I think that she was like underused, and she probably doesn't have a big purpose to be in the movie. Like, there is a purpose why she is in this movie, but it was like, oh, okay, that's your purpose. By the end of the movie, I was like kind of disappointed that we didn't actually have something, bigger happening with Supergirl, and it sucks, man. It really does. I feel like when they actually show Supergirl in the trailer, I thought that she's gonna be a much bigger character, and she wasn't. She just kind of there as a character, and then we never actually get any resolution with her character. And I heard that she was supposed to appear in the original ending, before James Gunn to reboot the DCEU, but now it's like, yeah, I mean, like, she's a character that just appear right there and then just gone. That's it. Like, you're not gonna be mentioned or remember again. So it's like, oh, okay, that kind of sucks. But yeah, I think besides all of that, like, again, great action sequences. Michael Keaton's Batman is the best. Supergirl is good, but again, doesn't really do much. The main problem that people is going to talk about is obviously the visual effects and the third act. And let me start with the visual effect first. The visual effects in this movie is like, yeah, some of it was like stylish, I guess, because I think Andy Muschietti said that it was supposed to be from Barry Allen's perspective. But I'm just like, okay, but it's just like super weird to see, some of the visual effects, when Barry is running. It was like, yeah, some of it are great and some of it are probably jarring, to see the human. And it probably makes sense from Barry Allen's perspective, and I guess that's what Andy Muschietti is trying to do. But I don't know. I feel like from the audience perspective, it's like, okay, you do your best, I guess, and the visual effects for the third act is like, yeah, it's good enough, but I feel like it's really, I don't know, it's really comical in my opinion, at least. At least some part of it seems or felt comical. But besides that, okay, fine. I don't really find a big problem with the VFX, because I know the VFX team has been working hard for the Hollywood industry at this point, and then they don't really have enough time to do the visual effects. So I feel bad for them, because they do need some time to do that. But besides that, we're gonna get to the third act, which is obviously, again, well, spoilers, I guess, for everybody here. I'm not really a big fan of the third act, because I feel like it's a bit of a mess, because they introduced like a new villain that appeared earlier in the movie but never really felt like a prominent character, and then it's just like, oh, this is the third act. It just happened. Okay, it's like, it's not the third act that I was expecting, to be honest. But there is some fun part about the third act. That is the cameo from the other universe. I don't think I know every single cameo ever. I think I see several Batman. I think I see Adam West Batman. I think we see the character from the Flash, I think, from the CW show, I think Jay Garrick, right? And then we see, I think, one of the exciting moment for me, at least, the two cameo that I did not expect, I guess, or I guess this one you could, I guess, call it a cameo. But we saw Christopher Reeve's Superman, and I honestly, I did not expect to see him here. I thought it was like, oh, it's a cool Superman, because they revealed them in like a silhouette, and it was revealed that it was actually Christopher Reeve, and then you got Supergirl also there, from the Supergirl that actually connected to the Christopher Reeve, universe, that awful Supergirl movie from the 80s, like, she's actually there side by side with Superman, and I think that was cool, because I think, like, Superman and Supergirl were supposed to be in the same universe, at least in the 80s, and then that never materialized because it was such a bad movie. It was such a bad idea. So I think it's pretty cool that we get to see them here, even if it's just for a tiny bit. And then obviously, I think it was actually CGI or like deep fake that actually, brought Christopher Reeve back to life. You could say that, and it was like, man, I think you could just use the archival footage from the previous movie. I feel like you don't really need to use the deepfake or like CGI for that. But okay, I guess that's it. But the most exciting cameo besides Christopher Reeve is obviously we get to see Nicolas Cage as Superman. Now this is a news that I did not or like a cameo that I did not expect. And I did hear some news that Tim Burton was supposed to make another Superman movie called Superman Live, or Lives, I guess. And then Nicolas Cage was supposed to be Superman. I think there's like a test footage for Nicolas Cage where he has this long hair as Superman, Clark Kent. And in this movie, Nicolas Cage has a long hair, and I think they used like a CGI to obviously to make him younger. And he's fighting a giant spider. And one of the fun facts that I learned is that in the Superman Lives movies, the third act or like the final battle was supposed to be Superman against a giant spider. So in this movie they brought that scene to life, where you got Nick Cage Superman fighting a giant spider. and I thought that was like a really fun cameo. I did not expect, I did not see that coming. And like Nick Cage as Superman, I really hope they. I kind of wish that we get to see a Nicolas Cage Superman one day. It's never gonna happen, but I can dream, right? But either way, I think it's really fun to see that unrealized material from a unrealized movie is actually brought to life in this movie as a cameo. I think that was quite fun. I think that's how you should do all these reference or cameo. That yeah, they weren't like a big part of the movie, which I appreciate because it's called the Flash movie. It's not like the other Superman or like multiverse movie, even though it's dealing with multiverse or at least the idea of like a multiverse. But I really like how they handle the cameos. I think that it was quite fun that we get to see Nick Cage. We get to see the CGI version of Christopher Reeve. I think it still makes me excited, because I did not expect to see him here, even though again it's not exactly him, it's like a CGI deepfake, but okay, fine. It's exciting to see him alongside with Supergirl, which is like again a callback to the unrealized material. Was supposed to be a connected universe, but so bad that it's not gonna happen, but hey, it's here, so technically it's happened, I don't know. It's just a fun idea, but yeah. And for the third villain that got introduced here, or I guess like a new villain that got introduced here, is basically the evil version of Barry Allen that I feel like is quite forced, and it didn't really work for me. It's just like okay, like you're kind of forcing this, especially for the third act, and it was kind of underwhelming in my opinion, or like anticlimactic in my opinion, because again, the final battle with General Zod. Oh yeah, I forgot General Zod in this movie. Michael Shannon is in this movie. He's whatever. Like he's not really a character. He's not really a villain. He's just like again like Supergirl. He's just like a plot point character, and then that's it. You're just gonna forget about him. Except Michael Keaton's Batman, which actually felt like a character. But for Supergirl and General Zod, and then Fiora All, I think, which is another Zod's army, it's like yeah, okay, like it's just like a throwaway kind of character, and that really sucks, because I feel like Michael Shannon is a really great actor, like he's great as General Zod, in Man of Steel, and in this movie they kind of like waste him, like he's just like a nothing character. It's like okay, and the battle itself happens in a desert, even though the movies try to show us that the Kryptonian is actually declaring a war at us, but we never actually saw the war. We just like in the desert, like with a bunch of military, and then that's it, And I get it that the people's complain that from Man of Steel is that, when Superman is fighting the Kryptonian or like General Zod, he just destroying buildings left and right. It's just like yeah, okay, that's not what Superman are known for, but I feel like it's cool in my opinion, at least for a moviegoers, like it's cool to see a third act in a big city and like giant buildings get destroyed. I love that shit. And then in this one, we don't really get to see that. It's just like a desert, which is like anticlimactic. Because I feel like there's no stakes here, at least in my opinion. But we did get to see a good fight scene between Michael Keaton's Batman with a giant Kryptonian, which also appeared in Man of Steel, when he fights with Superman as well. And yeah, it's nice to see like Batman just like sticking bombs, on the Kryptonian's like body, and then like manages to knock him out, even though he's also took his life, in the process. It was like, yeah, it's cool, we get to see Michael Keaton's Batman against a Kryptonian, and then not really winning, but managed to knock him out. I was like, oh, that's impressive, So yeah, nice action sequences. I think that's the best part again for the Batman parts, and yeah, after that the movie kind of find its footing again, I guess, with the Flash basically meeting his mother again, and basically undo what he does. Basically he realized too that his mother needs to die, because that's just how it is. You can't exactly change that because that's who he is as a person because of that incident right there. So yeah, I think it was supposed to be emotional, but I feel like, I mean, it was clearly supposed to be emotional, but I don't really feel that because the third act was such a mess that I was like, okay, I know I'm supposed to be emotional, but I'm not really engaging myself. But the scene itself, it still works. It does come into a conclusion that really works in my opinion. Even though the movie kind of like contradicts itself again, where Barry basically changed a lot of stuff. Where basically he put the tomato can on the top of the rack, I think. So like the father, when he buys the tomato, he can actually look up to the CCTV, and then can actually capture the proof that he was actually at the store when the murder happened. Like, so he was innocent, So Barry changed that, So it was like, oh, this whole time the movie was like, no, like this event need to happen, you know, and then suddenly, oh, by the way, Barry changed. At the end of the day, Barry still changed, you know, some stuff anyway from the past. I was like, oh, okay, so you can't change the past and then nothing's gonna happen, right? You know, like it's like the movie really contradicts itself, you know. In the end, I was like, oh, okay, like his dad is free, which is nice, but again, he changed his past, so yeah. Which leads me to the ending that I did not expect, you know, because when I first saw this ending, I did not know who it was, but apparently we get to see Bruce Wayne again, but this time it wasn't Ben Affleck. It was actually George Clooney. And when I first see them, I did not know that that was actually George Clooney. I was like, oh, what the hell happened here? Like, is this you know, like a cliffhanger ending, you know, where Barry Allen messed up again because he changed the past? I guess that's the implication, right? Because the Bruce Wayne is a different Bruce Wayne, but I feel like it's just like a joke, you know, like it was supposed to be Ben Affleck, but they changed that to George Clooney. And I think the original ending was supposed to be Michael Keaton's as Bruce Wayne that actually got transported into this world, I think. And then you also got Supergirl also got transported to the world, you know, which is played by Sasha Calle. And yeah, I think that's the original ending that eventually led to Batgirl movie that got canceled, and obviously the entire DC got canceled because James Gunn was to reboot them, and then like the studio just like, yeah, here's George Clooney for Bruce Wayne, cool. You know, it's like, okay, that like what the hell was that, you know? Like, so like I don't really, you know, walking away from the movie, like there is some best part for the movie, there's some fun part of the movie, you know, because again, Batman is the best part of this movie. But besides that, the third act of Mass is, it felt anticlimactic for me. Like they were supposed to be emotional, but I'm not really feeling it myself, you know. And then the George Clooney part was like, oh, okay, like it's just a fun cameo, cool, because we all know that this universe is going to get erased or like never going to be visited again, at least for some time, because James Gunn is building his own universe, you know. So yeah, okay, you know. And the post credit scene, it was like I didn't exactly stay for the post credit scene. I just like read them on Wikipedia literally after I finished watching the movie, and apparently it's just like, you know, like Barry is talking to, you know, Aquaman, and then they both drunk, I think, or like I guess Aquaman is drunk, and then Barry just like talking about the idea of like a multiverse, and then that's it. I was like, oh, there's a pointless post credit scene, you know. Even though again I don't exactly saw the scene, but I feel bad for some people that actually stay on my theaters, you know, because when I left the theaters, there's still some people actually waiting for the post credit scene because they're still sitting there, and I feel that I feel bad for those people because the post credit scene is like, hey, by the way, Aquaman 2 is coming out, guys, so make sure you guys watch this, I guess, you know, because it doesn't even matter at this point because like this universe is ending, you know, it's concluding, so it doesn't matter. So it's like, yeah, okay, cool, which is just pointless post credit scene, you know. But then again, it's coming from a movie that is never going to be canon or like never going to be revisited again, you know, in a while. So I guess it makes sense, you know. Either way, that's my review for The Flash, guys. Again, at the end of the day, I still think this is a fun movie. It's an enjoyable movie, you know. It's not a bad movie, so I think it might be like a 7 out of 10 movie for me. So it's definitely a fun movie. Let me know in the comment section below, guys. What do you guys think about The Flash? You know, do you guys love it, or do you guys actually didn't like it? You know, or do you guys have a mixed feeling for the movie? And yeah, what is your best part about the movie, guys? Tell me in the comment section below. What do you guys think about the third act of the movie? You know, like also let me know about that in the comment section below. Are you guys looking for Aquaman 2? You know, because at this point I'm just like, well, it's the last two movie for the recent DCU, you know, so I might as well watch it. But I gotta, like, a lot of people are saying that Aquaman 2 is not a good movie, so I guess there's that. So that's a red flag, I guess. Yeah, either way, guys, that's the review again. If you guys enjoyed, then leave a like, comment, subscribe, share the videos, the usual stuff, guys. And again, stay tuned for more videos in the future. And I really hope you guys enjoy this video. And I will see you guys in the next one then. Bye.